Hey, how's it going? Joey here with Simple DIYer, and we're about to start the J-Bates Miter Station build series. And before I do, I want to share with you a different approach that I'm going to take to showing you the way that I build the miter station. Now, this is a J-Bates miter station, so it's pretty much the exact same layout and format that he showed on his plans, right? So I don't want to bore you with like the same old build videos like he did, because he did an amazing job showing you those stuff. So what I'm going to do, or what I'd like to do, is cut out all the same stuff that he did, like the build of the drawers and the build of the cabinets and things like that, and just go straight to the things that I did differently, show you how I did them, why I did them, and why I chose to do them in that particular way. That way it won't be like the same replicated content, and you could always go to Jay Bates and see how he built his drawers and cabinets, because he did a very good job doing it, and I just build them the exact same way. All right, so hopefully this will give you some insights and some ideas to doing something differently with your build projects, if you're going to do something similar, like with the J Bates Miter Station or any other projects, for that matter. So hopefully you enjoy this approach that I'm taking. So with that said, here's the very first video in the J Bates Miter Station build series. So before I start my miter station build, there's a few things that I want to go over on how I'm going to modify my miter station build, and how I came up with the specs and dimensions, and also this thing that I'm going to incorporate into the miter station build that hopefully will turn out well, right? So I bought J Bates miter station plans, and I'm pretty much going to follow the exact same layout. However, I'm going to modify quite a bit the size and dimensions for this. Now, there's one thing to keep in mind when you're building a project or building something off of someone else's plans. And that is that, these woodworkers and these makers, they create these amazing and beautiful projects, and then they provide us with these plans, right? And one thing that people fail to realize is that those plans and that specific project was created and built to meet their needs and to fit their environment. So it's our jobs to take those plans and use them as inspiration and modify them to meet our needs and fit our environment. So for example, this space here is a 2-car garage, right? And Jay Bates also has a 2-car garage. Now there's a big difference, because his garage is a dedicated workshop, and that's all that it is. No cars whatsoever goes in that garage. In my case, my garage, we actually park the cars inside. So I have to use the space wisely when I'm building something like a miter station, where it's pretty much stationary and it's just going to stay there all the time. That's why when I build stuff, it's always towards the walls, so I could go ahead and park the cars inside. And another thing, on Jay Bates, his total length and dimensions are like 177 or 180 inches long, right? And then like 36 inches or 36 and a half inches in width, right? And that's just, to me, it's kind of too much, especially for my space. I'm just going through the plans and just thinking about it. I believe that there's going to be a lot of wasted space from within the actual station. So I went ahead and adjusted it a bit. And I'm going to make mine 150 to 154 inches in length and 32 and a half inches wide. And I'll go over that in just a bit. Now, another thing that I'm going to do to try to make this my own, right, is this thing right here, okay? This is a 55-gallon fish tank that my dad gave me. He was going to throw it away, and I always wanted a fish tank, so I said, Pops, why don't you just go ahead and give it to me? And originally I was going to put it inside, but my wife, man, she was just nagging at me and just fussing about it. She did not want it inside. And I think it's because she thought that I was going to put it with this. I mean, this is horrendous. That is just straight up ugly, And I told her I was going to build something nice, but she was not having it. So
I was sitting here a couple days ago, just reading my Mortise and Tenon magazine. It just came in, looking at this wall, looking at this fish tank, and I'm like, you know what? I am going to put this into this. Somewhere or another, I'm going to incorporate this fish tank into this build, and I don't know yet, but I'm going to go ahead and figure it out as I go through. All right. So let's go ahead and show you how I went ahead or how I went about figuring out my dimensions and all this stuff, so it could fit, my environment and meet my needs. So the first thing I wanted to do here was just to set up something here so that I could, visualize and somewhat see what it's going to look like, right? So I took the Polk, my Polk hybrid here, and I put it here on this side to represent the cabinets of the left side of the miter saw, right? And then on that side there, I put my old workbench to represent the cabinets on that side of the miter saw. And then the miter saw here, I put on top of this here. This here, I got to tell you something about it. Cool little FYI. This I built probably about 13, 14, 15 years ago. It was like when I first started woodworking, it was like, I don't know, I guess you could call it a workbench. I mean, it was a workbench for me back then up until I built all this stuff. Right here, it was my assembly table, my workbench, my miter saw stand, my table saw stand. I mean, a story for another day because that was really, really dangerous. I don't know how I did it. But anyways, I built this a long time ago, and I put my miter saw on top of this to represent that section where the miter saw is going to go, right? And this is a DeWalt. I don't even know what model it is. I know it's the biggest one that they sell on Home Depot. It's a 12-inch, and I bought this like 4 or 5 years ago or something like that. Probably longer than that. And I absolutely love this, okay? It's one of those sliding ones. But anyways, I put this here, and then on this side, I measured 8 feet from there to there, and I put the marker right there. So basically, the Polk hybrid is setting up right there where the cabinets are actually going to put, to reside. And I locked this all the way to the back. I locked it in and pushed it to the back. And basically, what I wanted to do is figure out a good dimension or some good specs from the wall to here, and that it won't bump up or whatever. All right, because like I said, Jay Bates, he had like 36 inches of space. I mean, it would have came up to like here or something. And I did not want that much of a space. I wanted at least 10 inches of workspace up here at the top from the fence to this section. So that's pretty much what I was going to do here. So trying to figure out, and I just kept on sliding into the front. And when I came out with a good size that I thought was going to be good, I left it at that, and I came from 20 to 22 inches would have been good. I decided on 22 inches because on this section here, by looking at this, I said, you know what, this is a good size, for this spec. It'll give me the 10 inches I want, so I decided to keep this at 32.5 inches wide versus the 36. I was almost going to go with like 28 or even 30 inches, but I really like this width here after building this Polk hybrid. I absolutely love it, so I say, you know what, this is the perfect size. I'm going to keep it this way. So once I got the the dimensions here, and it's not going to bump or anything like that, now I wanted to figure out the distance from here to here just to make sure that this won't bump up, especially when it's at I got it locked in here. Let me go ahead and unlock it. Especially when it's at full width here, right? So I wanted to make sure that this didn't butt up. I wanted at least an inch to an inch and a half of space from this little knob here. I really did not want to, bump up on that. So I did pretty much the same thing. Let me go ahead and set this to the side here. I did pretty much the same thing here. Just kept on moving it forward or to the side till I came up with a good dimension that was 4.5 from this wall to this wall here. I did the same thing there, and then I measured the distance from this section to the end of that, which gave me 34 inches. So I pretty much got a good set of dimensions here set for this. Now for that space there, that's another thing. Jay Bates has like a 48-inch cabinet, a 48-inch wide drawer. I mean, that's like humongous. What am I going to do with all that? So I said, that's too much for me. There's no way I'm going to fill, that's just wasted space for me. So I really wanted a 24-inch fence on that side, and so I decided on a 24-inch cabinet for that section. So that's pretty much it for this video, folks. I hope you found it insightful, and I hope you found some value in it. In the next video, which you could click on here when it becomes available, I'm going to actually start the miter station build, and I'm going to do something different with the cabinets on the bottom and also with the workspace, and I'm excited to go ahead and share that with you. Now, if you haven't yet done so, go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you can get notified on future videos that gets published. Also, hit me up on my social media sites, especially on Instagram, because I'm very active there, and I'm always posting behind-the-scenes footage of both pictures and videos of the current projects that I'm working on, way before it even gets published here on the channel. So it's going to be a lot of fun interacting with you guys over there, so make sure you hit me up on all my social media sites. So with that said, this is Joey with Simple DIYer. Peace, and I love you free. And I'll see you on the next.